Well, my plan is based upon the model that worked in San Diego. I did not allow, as mayor, 10 encampments on our sidewalks and streets because we care about people. And I firmly believe that if you allow that to happen, people are going to die on your streets. And we're better than that as Californians. We were the only big city in California where we actually reduced homelessness by double digits. So I'm taking that exact same approach, which is taking folks from the streets to shelters, making a difference. And as I said, making sure it's not about money, because you can throw all the money in the world at this problem. If you do not have the political will to make a difference out on the streets, it's not going to change.
But let's talk specifically about how do you get those tents on the sidewalks and the people who are inside those tents to follow your plan and move into shelter, because a lot of them just don't want to go.
That's true. But at the same time, you have to be persistent and you have to insist. And so I set up a shelter network in San Diego, and I picked the locations myself. I made a bargain with the community. I said it's going to be cleaner and safer with the shelter than before it was there. And to back that up, I created a new division within the San Diego Police Department called the Neighborhood Policing Division, whose sole focus was on homelessness and quality of life. And it made a huge difference. That division became the #1 referral source to folks to get them off the streets into the shelters. And it's not just about a bed. It's about the mental health services. It's about substance abuse. But you have to have a bottom line. And it's unacceptable to have somebody put up a tent in front of somebody's house or from somebody's business, or to have somebody have to step over used needles to go to work. We're better than that. As I said, we did not allow that in San Diego. That's the exact same approach that I'm going to take as governor, and I'm going to lead by example.
Yeah, I mean, two big things, though, that would be potential challenges for you. One, the concept of not in my backyard, which you just said, what you did in San Diego, but much more complicated in a state with 58 counties and a whole lot of other interests involved with that. And two, you'd be walking into a Democratic supermajority in the legislature who are not necessarily going to want to see you succeed, especially if you only got like a year on a term. How do you convince them? Where do you get the money to pay for what you're talking about with the Democratic legislature that may not be supportive of this plan?
Well, I have a lot of experience of that. When I was mayor of San Diego, my entire tenure, I had a majority Democrat city council. I'm a big believer that the things that we're talking about here tonight are common sense, and that we can go out and win the argument publicly, then you can win the vote. Because that's what we have to do to change in California, and people know it and they understand it. It's time to have a governor who's not worried about being politically correct, but a governor who's actually going to take a stand and say it's not okay to have 10 encampments under every freeway, underpass, and overpass. The graffiti, the trash that's stacking up all over our great state. That's what I mean by leading by example on state property. I'm going to show how we can do it, just like we did it in San Diego. As I said, we have a multi-billion-dollar budget surplus in California. It's not about money. It's about the political will to make a difference.
You know, the governor is now putting $12 billion towards homelessness, which is a record investment. He's also putting over $1 billion towards cleaning up California, some of those encampments where they were trying to clean it up. It seems like every other day he's doing one of these events where he's actually out there picking up trash himself. I was out with him last night in downtown Los Angeles. Here's what he said.
We mean business. This is not a photo op. This is not a press conference. We were out here a number of months ago. You were with us. We're coming back, and we're going to come back again and again and again and again.
How do you, though, make it last permanently?
You got to keep coming back.
What's your response to that?
Well, when you look at how the governor has enabled this problem for years and years, I'm glad he's actually focusing on it, or trying to. And I'll tell you, a lot of it's based upon a successful plan that we had in San Diego called Clean SD. What we're seeing this governor, the recall is here. It's all about self-preservation. He realizes, he thinks he has to do filings about something about homelessness, all the trash and litter on our streets and our sidewalks, our overpasses. I think the fact of the matter is, it's too little, too late, and Californians know it.
All right, let's look at the calendar. It's July the 8th, the recall, September the 14th, just over 2 months from today. Let's take a look at other Republican challengers out there and where you fall on this list. So we have former Representative Doug Osee, Caitlyn Jenner, of course, businessman John Cox, and also Assemblymember Kevin Kiley out of Rockland, a vocal Newsom critic who just got into the race. Where do you see yourself in the field? How do you separate yourself?
Is the candidate that has the experience, who ran the second largest city in our state, who got elected in a deep blue city in a deep blue state. Our campaign is about serious ideas and proven results. And I think that's what Californians want. I think they want somebody who can roll up their sleeves and get to work on day one. It's not about partisanship, it's about leadership. And I'm ready to lead.
Kiley has a lot of fans, especially among the base. There's a lot of talk that you might be getting an endorsement, though, from the Republican Party of California. Is that true? Are you close to that? Any potential timing on that?
Now that the party's going to go through a process to pick and to get behind one candidate. I think that that's important. So that's obviously a process that the party is going to go through. And look, we have a lot of candidates. And I think the reason that we have so many candidates is because you're seeing this frustration of what's going on with Gavin Newsom. I think we're going to have dozens and dozens of candidates from all different partisan backgrounds, from all walks of life. And I think what somebody wants, as I said earlier, they want somebody who's ready to lead. And I think that's why our campaign has so much momentum and why I've been leading this movement to recall this governor and make a change at the top. And so September 14th can't come soon enough, I think, from Californians who are ready to go.
And of course, the middle of this month will be the deadline for candidates declaring, so we'll know who the candidates are.
Next week.
And by the middle of August, people are going to be voting because vote by mail happens here in California as well. So this is all happening very, very quickly. Great to see you, Mr. Mayor. Hope to see you in person sometime soon.
Thank you both.